Well, that's because that's only a small piece of that.
There goes the black mass in 3, 2, 1. And there goes the slug. And there goes the white mass. This thing is heavy for a small thing.
Leave it lay now.
Careful.
I know it's heavy. John, you were showing the Linotype here. I seen him watching for quite a bit, and then I was going to walk over and say hi to him, but then he was gone. And then he'll be back. Oh yeah, I got a little spill. I got a little spill here, that's all. guide, down this belt, and down here into our assembler. Okay? And this machine, what we're making is a line of type that we can put in our press and use.
Oh, so these aren't actually the things that drop into here.
No.
So where does this come from?
To this position right here.
Uh-huh.
In that position there, of course, when this is closed, these brass mats with, let's get a bigger one here that you can see a little easier. See, here's a capital M regular and a capital M metallic. It's going to be sitting right here, just like that, all lined up. The plunger forces the molten metal up through the mouthpiece into this mold, which makes the body, or the bottom of the type. And then this is our letter mold right here that casts the line of type. Then, as the machine progresses, this mold disc is going to turn to here, which there's a set of knives in behind here that's making all these chips. What it's doing, it's trimming the bottom of this perfectly flat so that there's no flashing on here, so that it sets right up. And then it continues to turn back to this position right here, where there's an ejector blade that pushes the line out through this set of knives, which trims the sides, and then out through here. Okay, the machine is casting right now. Our slug's going to drop out here. This is retrieving the mats we just used. It's taking them back up there and it's distributing them back down into that area. Well, there's no computer chip in here. This is all mechanical.
How does it figure out which one is
I'll type in this line here. Okay, see how far down the mats are in the assembler here. Okay, now I'm going to cast this line. Okay, now I'm going to set for italic.
You guys want a tablet? Okay, make these.
See how much higher up the mats are sitting now? Now I'm going to cast the upper part for the italic.
Please take one. Ooh, three.
That's hot. And crank that up. Now I'm on number 2 magazine. And you can see here's my other magazine right here. With all my mats there. This is 12-point century expanded. The magazine underneath here I think is 8-point times Roman. And then the third magazine would be right there. There we're locked in for the third magazine. You can see there's one magazine there, and there's my other magazine there of letters to use. Or mats, I should call them. This arm goes in here. This arm goes in here. Now the other thing I have to do is I have to put a sword in here, right in, there's a hole here, and run it all the way through, because if I lift this magazine up right now, all these mats are going to come plunking out here on the floor. It's going to empty the magazine because I'm off of the escapement. There's an escapement underneath here that's holding the magazines in until I punch the key and it drops one magazine. So as soon as I lift this up, there's nothing to hold those magazines or the mats in, so they're all going to come out on the floor. But if I were to lift this magazine out, this would come down into this position here, and I would slide the magazine down and hang it on here and then pick it up and carry it away. tell you a little story about the Linotype. Vince, this is of course a relatively old machine. My copy would be right here, what I was going to type out. If I started a line and I made a mistake, whether it be I started on the wrong line, maybe I made a spelling mistake. There's no delete key on this machine. There's no backspace. So I have to do something with these mats that are in this machine. So what the operators would do is run their fingers down the first 2 rows of keys here and send it through the machine, and then go ahead and start this line correctly again. The proofreader was supposed to pitch that line out before it went to press, but as fate would have it, all during the 20s, the teens, and the 30s, there was a big joke that was going around: who in the world is Eton Shirtglue? Because you would see that in print every once in a while, Eton Shirtglue, Eton Shirtglue. Well, Eton Shirtglue happens to be ETAOINSHRDLU. Those are the first 2 rows of the keyboard on the Linotype. Okay? So there's over here, joke for you. Whenever the cam goes down, it pushes hydraulic pressure to this slave cylinder, which in turn pushes these 2 jaws together and centers my line of type every time. So I don't need to worry about space bands. Now, if I'm doing newspaper work where I want everything justified to the left, I'm going to pull this button out. That's left justification. Whenever this comes up, only 1/4 goes in. Or I can right justify. Now this jaw is only going to come in. Or if I want to center each line, I push both buttons in and both jaws come together equally. So I can justify left, right, center. Great attachment.
Just great.
And for the age of the machine, there's quite a lot of safety features on this machine too. If you listen, hear the little click, okay? If this quarter does not come together, this machine will not cast. Because if this quarter doesn't come together perfectly tight, if this quarter only comes together this far and it goes to cast, it's going to blow a whole bunch of type metal right out through this hole here. Okay? And there's a little micro switch inside this quarter, and there's a little button, and if you look right over here, see this arm moving?
Okay.
Okay, right now it will not allow the plunger to go down because there's nothing in it. When I push in on the micro switch, that moved over. Now it will let the plunger drop only if there's adequate pressure and a closed space inside this jaw to cast.